Yo, what's up, guys? What's good? Good afternoon. It's afternoon, right? Yes, good afternoon. All right, let's get right into the JASMY chart as we always do about this time. All right, Rip Rice, welcome to the member side, my friend. Welcome to the family. We got cookies, okay? It's a good time, brother. Thanks for the support. Awesome to have you, man. Welcome, welcome. Guys, I will get into the chat once we get through the news, as always. So first off, let's go have a look over at JASMY. So as we can see, I did a video this morning talking about it, guys. We need to get above this 30-day SMA as many times as you guys are sick of hearing it. Look, we've been rejected twice off of there. We're rejecting off it again. We rejected twice off it here, twice here, right? But the thing is, every time we reject off it, we have a violent break to the downside. We break fairly violently down from it. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 5, right? So will we break down violently again here back into the buy zone, maybe put in a double bottom or something, or will Bitcoin pull us up and keep us up here and maybe break us above the 30-day SMA? I don't know, guys. It's going to be tough. Honestly, I'm seeing another rejection. I'm seeing another rejection here. I think we can possibly come back into the buy zone, which isn't a terrible thing. It's another good DC opportunity, but I will preface it by saying this, okay? I know you're going to feel bearish if that happens. You're going to be all down. But if you look, we could break all the way down to 1 cent too, guys, and we would still be inside of this falling wedge pattern, which is an extremely bullish pattern. The last time we were in it, as you can see, we broke out after 3 months, 500% to the upside. This time around, it's been over 5 months now. We've been in this one. So the breakout could be very, very violent. Could we see another 500%, maybe a 800% breakout, right? Maybe 1,000. We'll see. As long as the longer we consolidate in this structure, guys, the more bullish it's going to end up being for the price action when we get that final breakout. So do not get too down about it. All I do, guys, is take advantage of the situations, right? Take advantage of the opportunities that get presented to me from these charts. That's all we can do, right? That's all we can do. Don't get down. Don't get depressed. Don't be a baby, right? DCA is the way. All right, if we go have a look over at Bitcoin, see what Bitcoin's doing. So Bitcoin right here, we seem to have a level of resistance right here at the, what are we at here? Right at 7 cents 276. There seems to be a level of resistance here. Now we broke all the way up to 73,620, which was juicy, but wicked right back down below it for the close, guys. So where's today's daily candle going to close? Well, we'll know in about 5.5 hours, right? But will the bulls make another push up towards resistance here? Can we get this candle up to close above 72,700, let's say 800. We'll round it up to 800, right? Can we get a candle close above there? We're going to pay close attention to it to find out. So we will definitely we'll be back later this evening to stream it. So that'll be good. Let's go have a look over at the bubbles. Mobile, another opportunity. Guys, I'm really, really, really thinking about starting to stuff my bags more on Helium Mobile. It's been taking a big hit this month, 41% down. That sounds like a great opportunity. I do hold a moderately sized bag, and I might actually take advantage of the situation and scoop up a little more. Why not? Onyx Coin is holding strong though, guys. It was before its breakout, it was down almost at 2011 almost. Now it seems to be holding very strong support at 1 cent 3 or sorry 201314. Very strong level of support. I love to see that. I absolutely love to see it. Swift is having a good day, 2.5% up. Juicy. Miria, another one that I am stocking up on, guys. If you want to know what I'm buying and when I'm buying it, you either got to be a member of the channel or a member of the Patreon. So get over there, guys. Get involved. What else do we got? What else? Look across the market. Taraxa up another 20.5% on the day. Very nice. Link's having a good time. But there's some good opportunities out there right now, guys. And this is the way it's going to be for altcoins until Bitcoin's done making its move. I think what we're going to see here is Bitcoin eventually makes its move up somewhere between $85,000 and $95,000 before it starts to cool down, and then we're going to start to see the alts take a turn here, okay? And then alts are going to go nuts. And then eventually Bitcoin will have its second run, which will be its blow off top run into next year, right? And that's when we'll probably get somewhere around $150,000, $180,000 for Bitcoin. And that's where it will top out. And then after that, then we're going to see alts do their blow off top. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Guys, I do see your comments and stuff in the comment section or in the chat. I will get to the chat after we get to the news. So bear with me, be patient. I'm not ignoring you. I will get to your questions, okay? Just so you know. All right, so let's get into the news, see what's going on around the market. First, let's check in on NeoSun. So NeoSun says it goes without saying that JASMY and APLEX will be present at the meeting organized tomorrow, which is actually today, by the Japan Payment Services Association. As members of the association for their electronic payment services joined out of obligation, they will surely participate in this meeting covering the Payment Service Act and other related topics. The event will be held jointly with Kanto Local Finance Bureau with JASMY and APLEX, which they had to register there. So we know that JASMY is a fully legally regulated crypto in Japan. So we'll see what comes out of this. JASMY showing up at an important meeting with the Kanto Local Financial Bureau discussing electronic payment services. Very interesting. We could see a massive announcement come out of this, maybe through data protection, the PDL, data privacy. We'll have to pay attention to it and see what comes of it, guys. I'm excited. I love these. It wouldn't be the first partnership between JASMY and the Japanese government. Bitwise CIO tells Yahoo Finance, I think we're going above $100,000 on Bitcoin. Let's check it out.
I think the most important thing for Bitcoin is that the election happens. Regardless of a Trump win or a Harris win, the regulatory setting for Bitcoin is improving. And I think that's what you're seeing reflected in the price. Of course, in the short term, crypto favors a Trump victory over a Harris victory. But really, Bitcoin doesn't need Washington to succeed. Regardless of what happens, institutions are moving into the space, adoption is rising, ETF flows are happening. I think we go higher either way. It just might be a little bit faster under Trump.
Yeah, and then when we talk about that, maybe a clarity from a regulation perspective, right? How much of that is necessary in order to continue that momentum, even potentially past 100,000?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, I think we're going above 100,000 on Bitcoin. I think the regulatory clarity you're talking about actually matters more for the so-called altcoins, for Ethereum on down. Those are more exposed to regulatory risk. So I would expect an altcoin rally, even more so than a Bitcoin rally in the event of a Trump win. But regardless, I think both are moving higher.
Why does it matter as much for Bitcoin?
Yeah, so Bitcoin has more regulatory clarity than Ethereum and other assets. The SEC, the CFTC have already declared it a commodity. It's in the clear. There's already an ETF. BlackRock already has a huge business in that. That's not as true for Solana and Aptos and other altcoins. But I suspect if we get a new SEC, that will become clear, that will drive institutional adoption, and we'll see that rising tide lift all of those boats.
What then do you think is the number one catalyst for Bitcoin as you look ahead to some of your 2025 projections?
Look, I think this is the best single time to invest in Bitcoin from a risk-adjusted perspective. All of the major existential risks of Bitcoin have been washed away. We have an ETF, we have institutions, they are coming into the space. The biggest catalyst is that move of institutional adoption. We're seeing that accelerate. We saw $800 million in ETF flows yesterday alone. This is a tidal wave of institutional assets moving into the space. There's a fixed supply. And from my perspective, that means higher prices.
You're saying it doesn't matter ultimately in the long run who is elected come next week. I'm curious then, because there's been so much talk about why Trump is better for Bitcoin or for the crypto community than Harris. It seems like, at least in the short term, maybe that is the case. But why are you confident, or I guess, why aren't you as concerned about the pullback that we could see if Harris is elected?
Look, I think we could see a short-term pullback, but in that case, I think it would be a major buying opportunity. That's right, specifically for Bitcoin. For those altcoins, I think there's more regulatory uncertainty. But Harris has already indicated that we're likely to turn the page. And I think Washington is ready to turn the page on crypto. You see bipartisan support for crypto bills. You see talk about moving on from the SEC. Make no mistake, short term, the rally is higher on crypto if Trump wins. And I think it's more certain we'll get that regulatory clarity for the altcoins. But in either case, I think the direction of travel is upwards. I think we'll be at new all-time highs this year on Bitcoin, and I think 2025 will look even better than 2024.
What more specifically does that look like?
Look, we're going to six-figure Bitcoin. We're going to $100,000 plus next year. We're working on our price target for what we expect in 2025. We may release that next week. But if you step back and look at it, crypto has moved from the niche to the mainstream. You have Emory University allocating. You have 60% of the largest hedge funds allocating. We've jumped the chasm. We're going mainstream, and that means higher prices.
When it comes to the biggest challenge, or maybe not the biggest challenge, one of the challenges, one of the overhangs when it comes to crypto is just the uncertainty surrounding it. I think maybe some of the more traditional investors are a bit cautious when it comes to crypto, just given its reputation. What do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to crypto?
Yeah, I still think it's the original misconception that it's a cryptocurrency and people expect you to buy coffee with it. Look, I've never bought a coffee with Bitcoin, and I think it's the most important financial innovation over the last 30 years. But this is just a matter of time. The flip side of that lack of understanding, which is a risk, it drives volatility, is that's also the opportunity. That's why Bitcoin is up 10,000% over the last 10 years, because people have realized what it is and what it means to the world. And it's why I think it's going higher still.
Do you think the institutional involvement here that we've seen through ETFs, that we've seen through funds, really obviously pick up over the last several months? Is that pretty much to raise this confidence problem that crypto did have, just given what had happened in the past?
Yeah, I think, look, it's moved it from something that people weren't sure would be around, would matter, into something that people are certain will be here. And now the question is it a $2 trillion or a $10 trillion or a $20 trillion asset? So it's sort of showed that Bitcoin has gone from 0 to 1. It's not going back to 0. And now it's a question of how high it goes from here.
What's going to be those deciding factors?
Yeah, look, I think the number one factor is, does the government continue to build up debt and abuse the US dollar? Bitcoin is ultimately a release valve from a government that has $36 trillion in debt, is adding another $1 trillion in debt every 90 days. One of the reasons I said the election, doesn't matter long term is the only thing we can agree on as a country is piling on more debt and doing more spending. We see no one talking about pulling that back. So that is ultimately the long-term driver. The education process, the building up of debt, you add those together and you're talking about a much higher price.
The best way to play it, I think that's what a lot of investors are trying to figure out. Is it through ETFs? Is it through buying actual Bitcoin? What would your advice be? Look, or how should investors maybe be thinking about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both are extremely valid. Buying and holding self-custodying Bitcoin is the original OG way of doing it. We see a lot of value in that. But ETFs are the easiest, cheapest, and safest way for many investors to do it. That's why we've seen the flows. Look, the beauty of ETFs, not just Bitcoin ETFs, is they allow retail mom and pop investors to access investments on the same term as the largest institutions in the world. You can do that with our ETF BITB for 20 basis points. Qualified custody, that's an incredible deal. We'll see people do both, but I think you'll see a lot of flows into these ETFs.
I think that $100,000 Bitcoin is easy. That's an easy target to guesstimate by the end of the year. But what I would say is, right now, like over on the Patreon, we're discussing getting into spot Bitcoin ETFs through the bear market, right? And the perks, the pros and cons of going with an ETF versus self-custody. So that's one of the ongoing discussions that we are having over on the Patreon. So definitely join the conversation, guys. What else is going on out there? Microsoft shareholders have started officially voting on whether to buy Bitcoin for its corporate treasury. This is going to be a massive, massive catalyst, guys. If you were around for the last bull run, you remember what happened when Tesla had announced that they were first buying Bitcoin for their balance sheets, right? And now we've got MicroStrategy doing it. We've got Metaplanet doing it. Now we're talking about Microsoft doing it. How long until we see Apple doing it, Amazon doing it, all of these other companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, guys? Very, very bullish. Let's get into this. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but let's play this. Pomp talking about with Cantor Fitzgerald, CEO of Howard Lutnick, explains how the hundreds of millions of dollars exposure he has to Bitcoin will be worth billions.
But like, how do you think about either you or Cantor?
I don't have a big enough percentage. I probably have, if. No, I can't say, because then people can figure out that no, how much I have. I would say I have hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin. And it will be billions.
I was going to say, so next year when you come back and we'll do this again and you'll be a Bitcoin billionaire and
yeah, but you remember that model I told you. So if every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer. Right?
Trust me, I know why you're doing the lending. Listen, you don't have to explain that one around here.
So I got the 50% Bitcoin, I got the Bitcoin lending, but basically what you're going to see is Cantor Fitzgerald is going to be the sponsor of Bitcoin into traditional finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be the leader of it. And I'll pull out this podcast in years to come and say, see, I told you, because no one's going to remember.
Of course.
Right. But all the banks, after we do it and show people how to do it right, they'll all copy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the asset of Bitcoin will just, as it becomes more accepted, it will become more valuable. And the whole Bitcoin nation should just call it a commodity, never a currency.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it a commodity. Because if it's a currency, you're attacking the politicians of the country,
mm-hmm.
right? You're trying to replace my currency with yours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, I'm just oil, I'm just gold,
mm-hmm.
I'm just a commodity, leave me be, right? Then they'll leave you be. And that is true. And it will be why Bitcoin, which is rare and is special, will become ever more rare, as we both know,
mm-hmm.
ever more valuable over time. It'll be financed just like gold is, right? Gold is, it's not like super financeable, but it's financeable. Oil,
mm-hmm.
it's not super financeable,
mm-hmm.
but it's financeable, right? Bitcoin will be financeable. Bitcoin will be way, way, way higher, sometimes lower. You just have to have faith.
I have the faith. That's why I continue to accumulate Bitcoin, guys. I continue to accumulate because I see what is coming. Absolutely. Definitely will be worth easily over $1 million in the next few bull runs. BlackRock has bought another $600 million in Bitcoin for its ETFs yesterday, guys. Just, you see what I mean? More and more is getting taken away, guys. More and more is getting taken off the market so that you can't have any of it. See, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has surpassed $30 billion in assets in record time, the fastest growing ETF in history, guys. And if you are sitting there asking, should I be buying this? You are absolutely insane at this point. Insane. Let's get into, got a little article here. Let's go into this. Bitcoin's brush with all-time high still hasn't woken up retail investors. Bitcoin is nearing an all-time high, yet analysts say retail investors are showing no more interest than usual. Bitcoin is on the verge of breaking all-time highs, and retail interest is still almost non-existent. Crypto analyst Miles Ducher said in a post on X on October 29th, which was yesterday. Bitcoin came within spitting distance of notching a new all-time high on October 29th, briefly touching $73,562, but has since cooled off back to 72,300 at the time of publication, per CoinGecko data. Despite the recent rally, search interests on Bitcoin are currently displays a score of 23 out of 100 relative to late May of 2021, when all-time search volumes reached their peaks per Google Trends. So people are not even looking up Bitcoin right yet. Notably, Bitcoin search interest is still generating only a fraction of the traffic that artificial intelligence has over the last week. When retail interests peaked in previous bull runs, Coinbase often saw its ranking in Apple's App Store soar into the top 50, but it currently stands at 308th position, according to Sensor Tower data. Still, Coinbase jumped 167 positions on October 28th and 29th, which may hint at rising crypto prices are beginning to arouse attention from retail investors. On October 26th, report from crypto analytics firm CryptoQuant, analysts shared that while Bitcoin retail investors were slowly returning to the market, they had been significantly outpaced by larger Bitcoin investors throughout 2024. The report also shared that the daily transfers from BTC retail investors hit 326 million on September 21st, its lowest level since 2020. However, CryptoQuant analysts noted that lowered retail activity often precedes Bitcoin's price rallies, with retail investors being more likely to chase a catch-up trade if Bitcoin were to rally suddenly. So basically, retail investors chase green candles and end up getting big red dildos. The launch of the United States spot Bitcoin ETF is responsible for significant contribution to institutional holdings, taking in over $22.7 billion in net inflows since the launch in January. It has not even been a year, guys. It has not even been a year. Do you see what is happening? All right. What else is going on? Paul Barron Network, you might want to share this video with your friends before Thanksgiving. Check it out.
Contrary to popular belief, Bitcoin would have a breakout year post-halving and into this Thanksgiving period. We would likely see 6 digits because what's going to happen, I believe, this Thanksgiving is the network value today is somewhere in the, call it the high 50,000s. Well, that was the halving event occurs. So the network value should double. The fair value is going to be somewhere in the 80,000s, but we'll go right through fair value during this whole Thanksgiving. You tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends and so on and so forth, like the Brett commercial. And I think between kind of Thanksgiving and December, we're likely to see, and it might even run into the first part of the new year, we're likely to see the same type of parabolic move that we saw in each of the previous cycles. Contrary to popular.
Now, I'm going to show you what he's talking about, guys, okay? If we go back over to the Bitcoin chart, I'm going to show you exactly what he is talking about. Gotta zoom out. Okay? Now, I've shown this over the last few days, well, maybe the last week or whatever. So right here, this circle where my cursor is, that is November 5th. That is the US election of 2020, the last election. Look what happened immediately after the election. Immediately, right? Massive run to the upside. So listen, what I am projecting here for me, something similar, right? So what we see, we ran from January all the way until April, okay? And then we started to see a correction, probably closer to 50% in terms of a correction before making that final run to the blow off top. Something similar is probably going to happen this time around. After we see an initial run up on Bitcoin, guys, we're going to see this. Now, what this is, people ask me, what is this? This is liquidity dumping out of Bitcoin and into the altcoins. And this is where altcoin season starts to kick off, okay? So that's what this is. Bitcoin's price falling, altcoins going. You have your divergence here on the RSI. And by the way, guys, and I've noted this a few times, people say to me right now, well, the RSI is kind of high right now. Okay, well, let's look at where the RSI was when it started going parabolic after the election. The RSI was at 85.18, massively overbought at that point, right? And it still went parabolic. So don't let that fool you, guys. We are on the brink right here. We're at the US election once again, getting ready for this to happen once again. So I hope you guys are ready. Little perspective for you guys, little bit of perspective. Well, some people are being impatient and they're upset and all that stuff. I like to open your eyes to the bigger picture, right? So big things popping, little things stopping. You guys know it. All right, what else do we got? All right, Ben Jorgensen, CEO of Constellation Network, discusses the U.S. pivot on crypto after years of attacking it.
I mean, over the last 7 years that we've been doing this, they were hesitant. I'm not going to lie. We had a lot of conversations. You name it. We had a conversation. Then we saw something turn over this year, which is really ironic because the U.S. government has been very much bullies across our industry and scared a lot of people away around the digital asset side. But when you look at the technology and what it can do, they're very curious. They see that there's a younger generation that have come into this space, right? In many ways, you can actually mirror it to how U.S. politics are embracing blockchain and crypto, which behind the scenes, and I did a panel on this, is that you're starting to see more bipartisan efforts. So both Democrats and Republicans coming together and saying, hey, we need to adopt this. We need to figure out how to work with it, bring in innovation. And really, it's kind of an age issue. I hate to say it, but older congressmen and women and senators are a little more skittish about it. But younger generations are seeing the opportunity, and that really follows where developers and evangelists and enthusiasts are coming into the crypto space.
So the U.S. is starting to realize the error of their ways, right? In terms of how they've been treating the digital asset space. We will see what happens with the election. It'll be interesting. RWA sector could reach $600 billion in the next 5 years. So the RWA tokenization is set for an explosive growth over the next 5 years, with assets under management potentially topping $600 billion by 2030, according to research papers from major traditional financial institutions. See, that's the thing, guys. What you want to be doing, again, another thing that we discuss over on the Patreon, you got to get over there and join the conversation, guys, is these assets like RWA narratives, okay? This isn't a get rich quick thing. This is a accumulate, and hold till like 2029, 2030, right? These are long-term, and then rinse and repeat, right? It's not a like get me rich in one cycle kind of thing. This is a long-term, this is a lifestyle change, okay? Global consulting firm Boston Consulting Group called RWA tokenization the third revolution in asset management in an October 29th paper. We will see a pattern of growing investor demand in the tokenized funds space, said David Chan, managing director and partner at BCG. The paper jointly produced with Aptos Labs and Invesco estimated that tokenized funds assets under management could reach 1% of global mutual funds and exchange traded funds AUM in 7 years. 7 years is not a lot of time, guys. This would imply that the assets under management of more than $600 billion by 2030, the research said. Cointelegraph has reported that the sector may grow by as much as 50 times by 2030. Over the coming period, that's why we see BlackRock emphasizing this right now, guys. Put your pennies where they put their dollars, right? Over the coming period, we expect that trend to continue, especially when regulated on-chain money, such as regulated stablecoins, tokenized deposits, and central bank digital currencies, projects materialize. Chan said. Projects, yes. The mass adoption of tokenized real-world assets may be led by bonds because their structural features make them ideal for blockchain issuance, according to a separate paper from the State Street Global Advisors. The bond market is ripe for adoption, wrote StreetSmart researchers in October's report on asset tokenization in capital markets. The complex nature of the instrument's repeated nature of issuance costs and high competition among intermediaries support both a rapid pace of adoption and room for significant impact, said Elliot Hentoff, head of macro policy research and macro policy strategist. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied this morning. Vladimir Gorshkov. Blockchain technology can play an important role in the markets that prize velocity of trading, such as repos and swaps, they added. The report said that the bonds, which are essentially debt instruments with a fixed maturity date, have three main characteristics that make them well suited for tokenization. Recurring costs that can reduce the tokenization complexity, which can be automated by smart contracts, and collateral usage, which can be facilitated by on-chain transfers. The report also noted that private equity funds show high transformative potential through public equities, show lower adoption potential because current systems work well. Real estate and individual private equity tokenization face significant challenges, and commodities offer potential for direct ownership, but face regulatory constraints, the researchers said. The Financial Stability Board also released a research paper on asset tokenization this month. It said that adoption of RWA tokenization is low but growing, with most tokenization for government debt, followed by equity stakes in debt funds, payment tokens, and commodities. Industry analytics platform RWA noted that recent increase in RWA research papers from institutions and asset managers in a post on X on October 29th. The platform shared that the total value of RWA non-chain is $13.3 billion, up 60% year to date. So the tokenization of assets, guys, RWA, you want to make sure, obviously not financial advice, but you want to make sure that your portfolio has some exposure. Don't play yourself, right? Simply Bitcoin, you're crazy if you don't think every major company in the world is looking to buy Bitcoin for their treasury. Exactly. Everyone is adopting the Michael Saylor strategy, right? Everyone is adopting it. So, and here is for you impatient people out there. The best investors in the world are really good at doing nothing for long periods of time. So many people need to hear that in their heart, okay? So many people are emotional and they want to move so quick. Guys, some of the best investors in the world are really good at doing absolutely nothing except hodling for long periods of time. Do not play yourself with your emotions. We got some Lark Davis update here for you. Look, it says Bitcoin is less than 2% from making an all-time high. Check them out.
Bitcoin down for a major breakout today. Things are getting very exciting on the charts. Beautiful. Look at that. man, just like frame that, put it up on your wall, like look at it, and like, yeah, man, that was the moment. That was the moment big things started to happen. Look at this weekly chart. So these are weekly charts, by the way. And I just like to draw your attention real quick before we dive into that. This right here. This, as we discussed a few weeks ago, I hope you were paying attention, the MACD weekly bull cross breakout. Well in effect right now. The last time this happened, we saw Bitcoin run from 29 to 74K. Okay. This signals a major trend shift for the asset class. And in my opinion, is something not to be ignored. Okay, there you go. Let's just zoom that down a little bit there. Now, Bitcoin came up today over 70K, baby. Let's go. Let's go. First time we've been over 70K since June. Been a while. And of course, as you can see, this is the downtrend line right here, orange line on the chart. That's our downtrend line. We have broken above it, retested, breaking higher right now. That is very exciting to see. That's the kind of price action we want to see on the chart right now.
Are you paying close enough attention, guys? That is the thing. Oh, we got a JASMY article to go through. Check this out. JASMY shows steady signs for massive pump to $4.40 and above as analyst confirms altcoin season on the horizon. Bitcoin continues its climb to reach its previous all-time high and hopefully break through to set new all-time highs, as many popular analysts suggest, reigniting the bullish sentiment for a Q4 that could see a trend top all-time high of $100,000 to $150,000. The expectation for Bitcoin is to set exciting new all-time highs, continue to grow. With the expectation for a bullish Q4, sentiment for an even more bullish altcoin season follows suit. In detail, every Bitcoin halving year so far has seen the incredibly bullish Q4, especially if September closed green. This year meets both of those requirements, hinting at a significant Q4 ahead, which invited the promise of an even more bullish altcoin season. Expectations for a bullish altcoin season are further fueled by altcoins themselves. So far, many popular altcoins have already begun to pump, like FET, SUI, and Jupiter. Meanwhile, other altcoins are reaching their previous all-time highs and are mirroring Bitcoin's path of shooting past that barrier to set new all-time highs. Overall, altcoins across the crypto market are in a frenzy, with a majority of them printing incredibly bullish patterns across the board, from hidden bullish divergences to golden crosses, cup and handle patterns, and tightening Bollinger Bands. A myriad of altcoins seem to be preparing for a remarkable altcoin season that could take many of them to exciting new all-time highs. As we can see from the post above, the pump for altcoins, despite the many gains so far, has not really begun. This means altcoin season is set to arrive with a tentative expectation for a Q1 arrival. The analyst says we are still very early in the market for altcoins, as many altcoins like SHIB, Doge, and XRP, and many more are preparing for a major pump ahead. The Bitcoin of Japan, JASMY, is one such token. The same analyst goes on to share a positive few months ahead for JASMY. As we can see from the post above, the analyst expects JASMY to hit the following targets respectively: 27 cents 8, 35 cents, $2.90 5, and $4.40. What do you guys think about those price targets? My price target, guys, as most of you already know, anywhere between $1 to $1.50 is realistic for me in this bull run. But I always tend to front run the market. If you want to know when I'm getting out, join the Patreon. You'll get all of my sell alerts. But I tend to get out early, so probably somewhere between 50 to 60, maybe 70 cents is where I will get off the boat, the train, whatever you want to call it. I make my money and I run for the exits. It's been 194 days since the halving event. Looks like BTC is due to go parabolic soon. As we can see right here, guys, this was where we were at in 2014 to 2018, and wham, Boom. This is from Stock Money Lizards. We are getting ready to frickin' go. Are you excited yet? Probably not. You're probably sitting there with your bearish jammies on, crying like a little baby. Someone just bought $43 million in Bitcoin. Check it out. 2 hours ago, $43.33 million. You love to see that, guys. You love to see that. All right, we got a little bit of a discussion over on Squawk Box. I think this is a strong report, and I think the fears about the U.S. going into a recession. So let's talk about it, guys. Is the U.S. going into a recession?
Dana, will there come a time where this isn't so easily digested? Is the 10-year telling us that it's closer than we think or not?
Well, I mean, when I look at the data today, I mean, we had 2.5%, so 2.8 is not that far off. We just missed on government, which is really outsized. But I think the key thing is that consumers continued to spend. They spent on a lot of goods and also services. They bought cars, they bought furniture, and that's because prices are falling. Residential investment was weak again, but we think that's going to improve as the Fed starts cutting interest rates more. When it comes to trade, we knew there'd be some volatility. Exports were very strong, but imports were stronger, certainly because companies were trying to get ahead of the port strikes, which ultimately didn't happen. But all in all, I think this is a strong report. And I think the fears about, the U.S. going into a recession, those kinds of fears are very, very misplaced.
Dana, I just need to do a double take on this data because I don't know if I have it right here. I'm seeing 1.5 on the headline PCE price index and 2.2 on the core. Is that your read? I think that's a lot below expectations.
2.2.
Hold on. The personal consumption expenditure price index increased 1.5% compared with 2.5, and ex-food and energy 2.2 compared with 2. Dana, Rick, I don't know what you're looking at, but that's what I saw there.
Yeah, I mean,
1.8 is the number on price index. 2.2 is the core price index.
Okay, but these are well below expectations, and we have the consumer doing 3.7%. We had Neela Richardson here, Dana, and maybe Mike too, talking about being in a sweet spot. That seems like pretty good a sweet spot to me.
I think we are in a sweet spot. I think Neela would agree with me that the labor market is doing okay. We've had some strong readings on payrolls, big upward revisions. The unemployment rates ticked back down. The only reason why it rose over the last year, where half of it was people saying, yes, I got laid off. The other half were new entrants and re-entrants. And looking at inflation coming down, the headline's coming down faster than the core. I'm a little bit worried about the core, but we're getting closer and closer to the Fed's 2%. And that's great. And that suggests the Fed can go ahead, cut interest rates over the next year or so and get us back to some new neutral.
Mike, I know there's a Santelli and a Santoli. I know it's you got to think hard, but I don't know if you want to talk, Mike Santoli, about refundings. How about, would you prefer Alphabet yesterday, Meta today, AMD? Where you want to go?
I mean, I usually, kind of try to throw it all in a pot and see what it boils down to as the way the market. Right now, it's netting out to an S&P 500 that's kind of flattish and hovering not too far from all-time highs. The move in yields clearly has the attention of all investors, and clearly there's a fear because we know how much supply is likely to be coming on a consistent basis to worry that it is going to basically be just too much. Right now, it doesn't seem to me that the clearing price in the way of yields is punitive for the economy because we just showed you we're growing pretty well through this period. We're at a level of 4.25-ish on the 10-year where we were in late July, and we were breathing a sigh of relief that we were down from 5. Okay, so I don't think the absolute level matters. If you want to tell me that it's all of a sudden going to become a lot tougher to find buyers for this paper as we issue more and the yields are going to go up for non-economic reasons, that's going to be a problem for stocks. But right now, I think we're kind of navigating it okay. I mentioned the S&P at all-time highs. The NASDAQ has been doing more of the lifting in the last couple of weeks, but clearly yields have held I think some of the equity valuations in check. We haven't made any net progress in the S&P in like 2.5 weeks since the 10s went above about 4%. So obviously, there's a whole interplay here that moves over time. I don't think we're at a moment, though, that seems like any kind of a breaking point.
Yes, gold, silver, and the S&P 500 have all smashed new all-time highs just this year. How long before you think it breaks into Bitcoin and crypto, guys? It is coming. Are you paying attention? All right, so Visa launches real-time Bitcoin and crypto purchases with debit cards in partnership with Coinbase, Bloomberg reports. More and more. Guys, in the last bull run, Visa being involved with crypto, Bitcoin for purchases wasn't even feasible, wasn't even something we would consider realistic. You have no idea, guys, no idea, right? What else do we got? So this is why we're watching 74K, guys. We're watching a major battle happen on Bitcoin right now because $2.1 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts will be liquidated at $74,000. So you're seeing a lot of battling here right now between the bulls and the bears, because if all the money gets liquidated, guys, we're talking $2.1 billion getting liquidated, right? The bears are fighting not to get liquidated right now to save their financial lives. But if we can break above 74K and squeeze those shorts out, then holy smokes, are we going to have a nice break to the upside, guys. Pay attention to 74K. It is a very, very massive level. All right. Let's have a look at the importance of Bitcoin dominance, shall we?
Another chart that I am keeping my eye on is the Bitcoin dominance chart. We have been in an uptrend in this parallel channel in Bitcoin dominance for like over a year now. It's been a year and a half since March 2023. The interesting thing we're getting here, which I mean, at face value, some people would say is bearish for alts, is a breakout above the top of the range. So dominance actually looks to me like it wants to keep going higher. This could easily squeeze to 62 to 64%. Now, you might say, oh my Miles, Bitcoin dominance breaking out is a really bad thing. That's terrible for alts. It means alts are going to underperform. Maybe in the short term, yes, alts might underperform. But in the long run, and not even like I'm talking months and months and months here. I'm just saying over the next few weeks and the coming months, a strong Bitcoin is really good for the altcoin market. You need capital to flow into Bitcoin first. You need billions of dollars of liquidity to be attracted to Bitcoin in order for that capital to eventually siphon down into altcoins. Without Bitcoin being well capitalized, without Bitcoin having additional liquidity, you can't have a bigger altcoin rotation. If altcoins right now were pumping and Bitcoin dominance was dropping pre-election, I would be extremely worried. I would be saying, wow, we might be heading towards a Q4 top. This is it. This is endgame. That is not the case. We are still in a Bitcoin bull run. Bitcoin is still the dominant asset in the market alongside coins like Solana, and we are seeing that reflected in the dominance, which is a great sign. The higher dominance goes, the better. As long as alts are flat or marginally increasing like they are now, dominance increasing is a really bullish thing because that implies that you have a parallel Bitcoin price increase, which is capitalizing Bitcoin. And eventually, in my opinion, that capital is going to rotate down as people make profits on their Bitcoin trades and go more risk on and look to move down the risk curve in the market. So ironically, Bitcoin pumping and altcoins moving sideways is actually the healthiest thing for the market right now.
And it also provides us with opportunity to continue to stuff our bags, which is what I'm going to continue to do until I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off, man. Till the wheels fall off. Okay, so to further piggyback off of that, Crypto Reviewing says, why are altcoins not pumping? Bitcoin is at 72K. The answer is simple. Bitcoin dominance. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is around 60%. This means 60% of the entire money invested in all of crypto is in Bitcoin. The altcoins, the alt season you're waiting for will occur when Bitcoin dominance loses the current uptrend and starts going down significantly. You can expect this to happen after BTC breaks new all-time highs and begins to go sideways for a while. Then all of the liquidity will flow to altcoins. 5 to 10x returns in a matter of weeks, more for the elite altcoins. It's what happened. It's what happened in the past few cycles. And it's exactly what will happen again. When will Bitcoin dominance reverse? Well, based on historical support levels, around 60 to 65% can be expected for a peak in dominance. So we're very close, or pretty much there already. 0 to 5% to go. And based on the past cycles, around 40 to 45% can be expected for the end of the cycle target on Bitcoin dominance. That's when you should have taken all profits and fully exited the market by. Pain and accumulation is almost over. All eyes on Bitcoin dominance for altcoin season to commence. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention, right? So let's go back over to the JASMY chart. We're still rejecting hard off the 30-day SMA. Let me get into the chat here, guys. See what everybody's talking about. Yamaha in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Beebs, what's up, man? My man, Beebs. What do we got here? Guys, make sure you smash the like and subscribe to the channel. Rip, once again, thank you for joining the member side. Thanks for being a part of our family, man. It's good to have you, brother. William, my main man in the house. Rip, excited to join the group holding JASMY Swift next hand. Nice. You are definitely in the right place, brother. Jason's in the house. What's up, man? Funky, Multi-Planet Pro. Jason, hi. Can you look up GST, please? Because in March, it went crazy up, now down a lot. Yeah, pretty much all altcoins are down a lot right now, man. But I will have a brief look at it for you. Again, guys, I get these requests for me to look at altcoins. Just so you know, there is a goal. If you read the goal in the chat, at the top of the chat, if you participate in the goal, then I will do a deep dive breakdown video, price prediction video of your favorite altcoin. So if that's what you want to see, then participate in the goal. GSTs, is this what you're talking about? Stepping on Solana, 1 cent. It was up. It's got decent tokenomics. Only got $13 million market cap. Gaming, play to earn, move to earn. Yeah, this is that move to earn one. It did really well in the last bull run, right? $8.51. Damn, it's a penny right now. I honestly don't think it's getting back to its all-time high, if I'm being honest. But I mean, I don't know. I just think these kind of plays are just kind of done, in my opinion. They're kind of, they've kind of peaked, so to speak, right? I'm not saying it won't run in the bull run. It likely will, but I mean, look, right? You know what I'm saying? Bruno's in the house. What's up, man? JJ. Hey, Rob, what are your thoughts on Luna Classic burn that is supposed to happen tomorrow? I don't really care about burns, to be honest with you, man. I personally, burns are exciting for meme coins and stuff like that, for sure, right? For sure. But now I have to preface this by saying I'm biased against Luna because I was a holder of Luna when the whole thing went down and I got wrecked on that, right? So I would never touch a coin that wrecked me once already, or that wrecked a bunch of people already. Like, I never held FTX, for example. I would never go buy FTT token now. That's insanity, right? I don't know what the utility is for Luna at this point. Is it a meme coin? Is it a community coin? I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you, at this point. I haven't done my research on it, so I can't really say whether it's good or bad because I haven't done my research. I know there's a lot of content creators out there that will FUD a project when they haven't done any research on it. I will just openly admit to you, I have not done my research on Luna lately. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they have utility. I don't know if they're a meme coin now, if they're a community coin. I don't know what they are. So I can't say that. All I can tell you is my bias against the project because I got wrecked on it, right? So that's me being fully transparent with you. Big Kev in the house. What's up, man? WF Capital. Strange Sky, what is happening? Good to see you as well. Make says retail won't invest a single dollar until BTC really goes up. What has really happened in Jasmy's roadmap? I don't understand what you're asking me there, brother. Jasmy has met every target in their roadmap that they've ever had. There's nothing that they have not achieved in terms of things they had set out to achieve, and the things that they haven't achieved yet are not things that they've given up on. So there's no reason to doubt anything in their roadmap at this point in time. God bless, John. God bless, my brother. Lily, Lily's in the house, and Richie Rich, my main man, my brother from another mother. What is going on, man? So, guys, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button for sure. And yeah, I mean, listen, I got to start getting ready for the gym. So make sure you join the Patreon, guys. I'm going to be doing a live group video call over on the Patreon this afternoon. So join it if you want to be a part of it, guys. If you want to book a one-on-one with me, you want to chat crypto, you got worries, you got concerns, you have questions, you want to look at your portfolio, you want to help structure it, you want to create an exit strategy, how you should be taking your profits, how you should compound your gains. Are you interested in maybe operating nodes or maybe DeFi staking to make extra money on the side? We can talk about all that stuff, guys, over on the Patreon. Get over there, book your one-on-one coaching call with me. The link is down below in the description, and it's in the chat. I will see you guys this evening for the daily close. Have a good one, guys.